Proud. Okay. Good morning. We are meeting for the Environmental Committee, June 24th meeting. I just wanted to check in with everybody, and I think we're getting very close to being able to move forward with our website updates. So I was just hoping that you guys had some resources to share about the A to Z list and the frequently asked questions. I know you guys were doing a little bit of homework on those.
Well, one of the last meetings that we had when we met, actually, before all this, I had given all of the materials that I had researched. I had printed copies, but I couldn't find the online addresses for the materials that I found. So I gave those to Kevin. I have nothing. I didn't at that meeting, and I didn't make any copies for myself. So I have nothing and he sounded like he had gone through them, and he was going to put all three into some kind of a format, and then we were going to go through the format and see which ones we didn't think were necessary or we didn't know about, or some things that perhaps we wouldn't be interested in having on our list. So that is all I know about this, actually, at this moment.
Okay, I'm suspicious that this morning meeting may not work for Kevin as well if he's working. So I'll just shoot him an email and see if he had a chance to compile all of those resources into the document.
I only had one extra copy of the Village of Scarsdale's and how they did their household items, and it's just a one-pager. And let's see, do we have the email address here? Well, we just go to scarsdale.com, and we can probably find it that way. But so I'm sorry, that's all I can offer today, unless you want to see the list. It's just a one-pager. Pretty comprehensive, I thought, anyway. So if we're looking for something that's like that, comprehensive and just one page, some of the other options that I found were pretty extensive. So, it just depends on how we feel we want it to look.
Well, and I think too, we can get our basic list together so that we can get that part of the website up and running. And then as we get questions or think of things, we can certainly add those and kind of build that part of the website to be easy to change and to update.
Sure.
I think would be a good way to get started.
So if there was something that we could understand. So I had to take my son to work at 9 this morning. I forgot about that.
Oh, no problem.
He's planting an apple orchard. 28,000 trees. Yep.
Oh, for
Terrence.
For Terrence Robinson.
Yeah. For his family.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
That's an amazing little endeavor they're getting into.
Oh, they've done a lot of infrastructure work on that property too to be able to get that up and going. Wow.
Oh my goodness, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I like to begin. I mean, I've always liked to begin with that. I think simple and concise is better. I don't know if that list that you have, Joyce, is something that we could kind of.
You know what?
I'll just choose from it.
Yeah, it's very basic. Really basic. I think what we have to do with it has, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and let me send this out to you. I don't want to send it right now because I'll probably screw up everything. But I'll get it and send it to you all, email it. And after this meeting, and then it's just really, really basic. The only thing we'll have to change, they have a kind of a key, to what their method of disposal is. They have a key here that says H or MRF or whatever. Those I think we'll have to change because, ours don't go exactly to a MRF. Like they have acids here. So we would have to put some kind of a key in there that says, special collection or something.
Right.
And we said we have to change that kind of thing. But other than the listing, it's, it's what people probably would, like dinnerware. What do we do with that with china and glass? So it's pretty comprehensive. Plastic wrap. Hey, Caitlin, someone told me that when they went to take their film, that there wasn't the tote there for films any longer. Is that true?
No, I was just out there the other day. It was in a different spot. They had moved to the coupon machine, so I'm not sure if they moved it because the coupon machine got pulled out of the wall, and it's so I'm not sure exactly why they moved it, but it is still out there. So
okay, so probably this person just was probably relying on a habit of, I take my film and I put it over here, and then just maybe didn't notice. All right, I'll let them know that it's still there.
It was there Saturday. Saturday morning it was there when I went.
Yeah,
by
it was
the coupon machine?
Now it was kind of over by the recycling bin where the batteries go. I'm not sure if that's where they're intending to keep it, or I'm not sure exactly. I just noticed yesterday I walked out there and it was in a different spot.
Okay.
So I would just encourage that person, if they ever have any questions, to just ask the guys and they'll tell you where to go.
Yeah. I know that this was during the pandemic, and, things happen, in the moment, and all of this. And so anyway.
Is that Kevin that just joined us?
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Morning.
Sleepy.
Hi. Hi, Kevin. Oh, we thought you'd be at work.
No, I'm working nights now to distance from customers and coworkers. So.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Well, thank you for waking up early to join us. We were just chatting about the A to Z list right before you hopped on. I think that you were working on compiling some stuff for us. Have you had a chance to work on that at all, Kevin?
I haven't made progress, but today's a good day. So I did dig out my notes, and I've got several sites that I'm going to be pulling from. So hopefully later today I'll send out a link to a compiled list that brings together the information from all the different ones.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That's perfect. That really is great.
I think that we're getting really close to getting all of our pieces to the puzzle together to move forward with the web updates. So, and Kevin, even if it's just a preliminary document, so that we can kind of get it up and running, and then as we think of things and we find other resources, we can certainly always update it and add to it.
Yeah, my intention at this point is that we would just have the master list of all the different things other places have done. Then we can go through and say, okay, these are the ones we want to keep.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like a great plan. And then I know that Mary Kay was working on the frequently asked questions. Jared, were you working on that as well?
I was. I don't have any more to add. In fact, I had a lot of my stuff at school, and I'm hoping that I brought it home.
Okay.
So that's, yeah. So I dropped it on that one.
Okay, it's the same thing. Both of these pages are going to be living pages, and as calls come in, or Joyce, if somebody reaches out to you and says, hey Joyce, I was at the transfer station, I didn't know what to do with this, we can certainly update these. And so if we can just get some preliminary stuff together and kind of get moving on this, I'm anxious to pull the trigger. So and I think that IBTS had kind of compiled some basic frequently asked questions that they'd pulled off of the survey. So we do have a bit of a starting point there. So I'll take a look over that, and if anybody else thinks of questions that they hear from friends or relatives that are town residents, certainly let me know. So we needed to chat about that. The IBTS had originally submitted some images for the website that I was not satisfied with, so I did not distribute to you because I didn't think that we needed to review them. They needed to be updated. So they've been working on that. Karen showed me a few preliminary documents. Let me just see if I can pull them up here. And what they went back and redid looked outstanding. I was really pleased with, you know, they had an A to Z kind of page header image, and you know, the A was made of plastic bottles and the Z was like food waste. And so the way, once they went back and redid them, they were really outstanding. And they did some great ones for the kids page. So let me just see, I should have had this link ready. We talked about the timeline. I'm definitely a little frustrated about that. You know, we are very close to the end of the second quarter and we still haven't received any emails or social media posts or anything like that. So Karen assured me that they are going to be getting back on track. So because of that, we talked about pushing the final survey back. There's just no way we're going to be ready by August.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten this campaign. You know, I've done some work for Earth Day and the composting, but in general, we're still waiting to get this campaign up and running. And a big piece of that is the campaign is supposed to be a drive to website campaign. You know, we have these social media posts and newsletters and really encourage people to go to our website where we have extensive resources. So we've pushed back the final survey. We had talked about a budgeting document. I told Karen that we really didn't need that by August. There's very likely to be no money for, you know, kind of extra projects like this as we go into the next budget cycle. So I think we will be able to utilize, you know, some of these resources we have from IBTS to kind of carry us into the next budget years. All these posts, social media posts and emails and those kinds of things. So she's working on getting me an updated timeline of kind of what she's thinking and trying to get us back on track once again. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts about that?
I do want to talk about the kids page, but not in conjunction with recycling. So whenever we're finished with that business, we can talk about how the kids page will interact with another option that we talked about. Caitlin, remember? About joining the conservation, the ECB, and the recycling kids page into one page, and maybe even having the history committee or the ag committee join on that. So I have talked with Sarah about it, but we can do this recycling thing first, and then we can do the kids page, or we can talk about the kids page.
Go ahead. I think that I was kind of wrapping up there. Okay. So go ahead. Okay. Why don't you catch the rest of the committee up to speed, because I think it's a great idea that you have.
The ECB has been realizing that as we're going through and trying to curate some of the information that we have, that we had a lot of kids information that we've started to collect. And so our webpage, the ECB's webpage is, you know, it's a pretty, I want to say loaded webpage with lots of information regarding natural, you know, topics on natural resource protection. And we didn't want the kids page to kind of get lost. So in our webpage, in the ECB webpage. So I talked with Caitlin about perhaps merging the recycling kids page and a townwide kid page and having it be a separate entity. But in that entity, that page, there would be, there would be options for the recycling kids programming to come onto it, the ECB conservation programming, and then maybe either the history committee programming, because they have some things that I was thinking of you, Jared, actually, in the project that you did for the history committee when we met at Cheshire, how your class actually interacted and recorded interviews of seniors that were living in the Cheshire area.
Right.
I thought, that's a good thing to have on a kid's page, so that there would be certain, topics. And then the Ag Committee is always looking for stuff to do for kids. They participate in the summer programming and all that. So I talked with Sarah about how that could happen. And she is very willing to set up a kids page, not that, maybe we could use the detail from whatever is happening with the recycling page to kind of put that in there, or however we want to do it. Anyway, that's kind of where we're headed, and she's going to start fooling around with that. It's going to take a little bit time to develop, a page where we can then start to design it and the format and everything for it. So I'm hoping that that's something that we could do, because we have a lot of kids, and we have a lot of, right now we have a lot of kids at home. And so it would be really great to be able to incorporate all that and have the, it'd be a newsletter, we could have newsletter articles in there, just pull from what's already on the kids page and highlight that for a month, or, we could, however that works with accessing all that information. So
we could even, when we ever get back in person, you're talking about that, I could see working even in conjunction with Mark McNeil and having some of the kids in science class make little PSAs like they did. Caitlin, you saw the one for the milk carton recycling
I love
one.
that video.
But just something like that, like an interview at the transfer station where they're there and they're interviewing the people there, or
exactly,
just
or
something like that. Just a few 30-second, minute little clips.
Yeah.
From a kid's perspective.
I see. I'm really hoping, well, this is coming from, the ECB, and our mission is public outreach and education. And what we've always kind of been feeling is that, kids are such an integral part of our community. We haven't really been focusing on that until we got to the recycling here. Yeah. And so, but this was just a jump off point, I'm thinking, is the recycling. So now we can, kind of broaden that. To include kids and information for them, and these kind of things that you have up here, that's information that I think kids could be very interested in. Not only kids, but so here's another option, and that's sustainability. The ECB has kind of sort of we don't know what to do kind of with sustainability issues. Yes, a natural resource protection is about sustainability. That's certainly, one of the things that we look at, and how we can, preserve and whatever. But sustainability for the town is kind of like a larger issue, not just that, but it's practices, it's residents, how they use things, water conservation, how that's all in sustainability. And I have a little, kind of like one of these little, that's really cute. I like that, A to Z. That looks real darling. How how the town actually interacts with sustainability, and wondered if this committee, under the auspices of the environmental committee, the town board, would deal also not only with recycling, but sustainable issues. What do you think about that, Jared?
I think it's something, I mean, we need to get that out there, and I agree with that. I agree with taking that and using it and putting it out there, especially with this year. You know, we're talking about the resource, we're talking about the water, we're talking about everything that we're in a crunch right now. I would support going forward with that. I don't know how we would, if we put it on here, do we?
The town board has had a resolution I'm talking maybe 5-6 years ago regarding sustainable issues. And when we developed or redeveloped the comprehensive plan last time, we inserted sustainability. I think that was like for the first time that the town started talking about sustainability. And then we started talking about, smart city and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it hasn't ever, we haven't really proclaimed ourselves, in a big way that we are really focused on sustainability. And we do this in the town, when we built the highway department and things like that, there was a sustainable issue that, it was, built with sustainable issues in mind, energy efficiencies and all those kinds of things. So it's a broad topic, and sometimes in the ECB, we can't tackle it like that because we're working so much on, other natural resources.
Right.
So anyway, so my thing is that we're going to do this recycling program, and pretty soon we're going to get it all together, and then it will just do maintenance. And then we'll just be in the maintenance mode. And is this an opportunity for us then to kind of this committee or another something or other to kind of work on sustainability? Because they kind of all go together, but they're can be separate. You could look at them that way. I'm just throwing that out as an option because I think sustainability is going to start being a huge topic.
Yeah.
So something to think about. You don't have to act on anything, but
yeah, I put it down in my notes to see, what we could do. I'll look up to see what the comp plan says.
Yeah,
and see if that's
not too much, except sustainability is, we've fought. Kevin, do you remember when we started doing that, talking about sustainability and how the town board, were you on the town board at the time when sustainability became part of the mission statement, or I guess I'd call it that. I know it's in the comp plan now, the update. Do you remember anything?
I'm pretty sure I was either on the board or I was on whatever committees were advancing that, but I don't really remember any details at this point.
Yeah, exactly. We've kind of said, yep, we are sustainable, but we've never really been into it and said we're sustainable, and so this is how we're going to move it through our communities so that we can understand that better.
Yeah, it's like what you said, that is a big word. I mean, and it could mean a million different things to different people.
Yeah.
And it's one of those words that's fun to throw out, but what does it actually mean?
Exactly. It's a physical process, actually.
Yeah.
You can either make it an ideology or you can either give it physical properties and then you start to do something. And I think that's what we're looking for here is to involve the residents. Like the recycling it's something that you do, and that's great. And so we've really done, I think, and Caitlin, you've been very instrumental in this, is, showing us exactly, showing our residents exactly why, and all the other kinds of information that would help them to understand that this is a practice. So sustainability is a practice also in different areas.
Well, and I think, tying it all together with those reduce, reuse, rethink, our other parts of the tagline are all really great pieces of sustainability as well. I definitely think it's a great idea, but like Jared says, it's kind of an abstract concept. I'm a little hesitant to, I don't want to bite off more than we can chew. I'm a little bit overwhelmed with everything that needs to happen in the next, couple of months with all of our grants and these website updates. So I'm fully supportive, but I cannot take on anything else. So,
no, I'm not suggesting that you even do anything. I'm just suggesting that we look at sustainability as part and parcel of what, all the committees will look at. I mean, the ECB looks at this all the time, but we don't name it as that. And of course, recycling, we look at it all the time, but we don't name it as that. But the rethink part of our logo is probably where this would kind of fit, if we're talking about that. So we don't have to have an actual program, or committee or anything. It's just that we keep it in mind, our mind, and we start moving towards that as a, when you start reviewing policy and stuff like that, and even reviewing rezoning and all of that, is this a sustainable practice that the town is taking up? So that's kind of what I'm indicating here, is that there are ways that we could do it without adding another layer of bureaucracy on top of this.
So it would basically be making a statement or making a resolution saying that is one of our goals, to look at sustainability in every aspect of town actions. Could give specific, could give some examples as far as energy and as far as, buildings and things like that. I would also add that the ordinance committee, they're also working on this type of thing. One of the things coming up there is the parking spaces, and reducing the mandated number of parking spaces in new buildings and new construction, by cutting that dramatically to preserve green space and to preserve resources, cut costs, all those things. So it's happening. It just doesn't have, it doesn't have that tag on it to be linked to that. It does. People know it's happening, but it's not called that. So I think if it could be done with a resolution to say, okay, every action, has sustainability in mind. I think that's something that could happen. I agree with Caitlin that we get through this, and once the website and the recycling page and all that is kind of doing its own thing, then we can, you could even work on a draft resolution or something like that to be shared.
Well, and certainly, hopefully by the end of 2020, we will have a lot of these projects, wrapped up, and like you say, this train is going to be on the tracks and, not need as much attention. And maybe 2021, we set some more broad sustainability goals once we kind of get this project rolling along.
That's very doable, I think. And this idea is not to put pressure on anyone to be able to do and add to, the workload. That is really not what we want to do here. But there'll be a time when we can sit back and say, wow, this project, most of it's done now. We can just, and that maybe is the time, like you're saying, that we can take up, this is the sustainability issue. It's there, and we've been kind of dabbling with it, but I think we need to get kind of serious. And in the environmental committee, the town board environmental committee, this is the committee for it really to kind of, shepherd it along.
And I could support, if we were, like I said, if we were to, and it wouldn't be any, I don't think it would be any, it would be entailed work other than writing a resolution. That this is a focus and actions that the town takes, that we look at sustainability issues. What are we doing to preserve resources, to limit the impact on natural spaces and the environment and things like that.
Right.
So it's not creating a new program. It's just putting in people's minds as they're going
Yeah.
through things.
Changing the
It's just,
context.
that's right.
Yeah.
It's just a little public awareness.
Yeah, it's just
you
a
know.
little, it's just a little tweak. It's like when you go
Yeah.
back through and you've got to tag things for a certain topic, but you
Mhm.
realize you've been doing it for the last several years, but oh, here's where I did that. Here's that, but we just didn't call it that.
Yep.
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 Thank you.
That actually segues really nicely, Joyce, into I wanted to touch base with you. I know ECB is doing some water conservation stuff. Are you, where is that project at? What kind of things are you?
So the ECB's budget, we don't have one any longer. So as far as, we were going to be reproducing the water brochure, and we were going to be sending it out. That was in our approved plan for 2020. That's not happening at all. So we did start some conversation in the newsletter last month regarding water quality or water conservation issues. And of course, our original plan was to continue that into June and then July, but with the emphasis on the brochure and redoing, and looking at that and seeing how we could make some suggestions towards it. But that isn't happening. But so we've had to shift our plan, and what we're shifting to is how we can develop trainings for invasive species. We have a lot of already stuff put together for invasive species. And so we are concentrating now on invasive species. And one of the things that we're doing with invasive species is that we are developing, Caitlin, the training that was supposed to take place for the highway guys in March. Edith has that PowerPoint all set up. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to make that into an instructional video and make it available through Zoom or probably on a Facebook. It's probably going to land on a Facebook formatting. But also the county is interested in taking that information, taking that training and offering it to the municipalities in the county. So that's kind of where our focus, it just kind of blew up. We said, yeah, well, we have to do something with invasive species. And then all of a sudden we said, well, wait a minute, our highway guys didn't get that training because we can't meet. And then the county, we had a conversation with them and they said, yeah, if you do something like that. So that's what we're doing now is we're developing a training, and actually the method will be through Zoom. And then I guess when that's done, it'll land on a website page or a YouTube page. And then it will be forwarded to the communities, to the other municipalities in the county. So our focus switched from water conservation to invasive species. The things like we're all experiencing now in our homes, and that is the gypsy moth. That's a big one. Everybody is saying, woo, what are we going to do with gypsy moth? Yep. And some other species that we were going to tackle later, like in July and August, but we decided we might as well do that now because we kind of got it going anyway.
Okay. So there aren't going to be any more newsletter articles about water conservation is what I'm hearing.
Not at this point.
Okay.
Perhaps in the fall. We'll switch back. We'll go back to that and see what we got, or maybe it's hard for us to even, our plan is just, we have a really great fall plan for it, with a project up at Miller Park, and it's an astronomy at nighttime thing, but.
Oh, cool.
This getting together with people, it's not going to happen. I don't know if the town board would really allow us to open a park and have that kind of stuff going on in the fall. Whatever happens with the recurrence here of COVID during the summer, I don't know what kind of stream we're on here, so.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Okay,
yeah.
How would you feel about the water department taking on some of that water? I would like to get something in this newsletter about water your garden at night. Our water system is under extreme strain right now. It's been very hot and very dry. And the infrastructure is just barely keeping up.
I know that we talked about the brochure, that it hasn't been available. It hasn't either been posted on the water department line or, whatever. So if under the auspices of the water department, if you wanted to go and if you wanted to have anybody look at that, like Edith, because she's been doing this forever. She was the one that was going to be kind of editing the brochure if we thought there might be something. Actually, the article that we had was mainly little tidbits, don't forget to do this, look at your garden, don't overwater, don't blah, blah, those kinds of things. It was pretty comprehensive for a water conservation article, I thought. So if we
I'll double check that, and if there's anything it seems like we missed, I'll just emphasize that.
I think getting the brochure onto the website and then directing our residents to that brochure would be would be a really good, goal.
Unfortunately, the brochure in its current format does not easily transfer to the website because it's a tri-fold.
Yeah.
The front page, so it needs some pretty extensive massaging to get into a digital format, and that's something that's not going to
happen.
Possible.
I know,
as much as I want to say maybe next week, I need to be a little bit more realistic than that.
No.
So I think I'm going to pull a couple of things, get something in the newsletter, and then keep that as, maybe once I start diving into the website updates, I can take a little once over of the water department and pop something on there about water conservation as well.
Okay, that anything that either of us, but either programs do is fine and dandy. It's great.
Yep, I just didn't want to, be repeating each other or trying to reinvent the wheel.
I agree.
Okay, so I apologize. I was kind of multitasking there. What did you guys think of the images kind of flashing through?
Liked them.
I thought they looked
catchy.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I really am. Some of this stuff I haven't been impressed with, but I am impressed with those.
I'm thrilled with them, and I think that they look great. They gave us a couple options a lot of times for different ones, different colors or text. So I think they look great. And then I think we can definitely start getting our pages kind of pieced together as well.
Yeah.
So.
Okay,
did anybody else have anything they needed to discuss or wanted to talk about while we're meeting today? Okay.
No.
Sounds good. Well, Kevin, I'll keep an eye out. Like I say, there's not a huge hurry for that document. There's no way I'm going to be able to look at it before next week. So if you can kind of start putting that together, I'm hoping next week to have some time to start really looking at this and piecing these the puzzle pieces together.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Everybody have a nice day. Enjoy that beautiful, cool weather out there.
Yeah, right.
I know it.
Well, it's cooler today than it was anyway for the last few days. So.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. All right. Take care, everyone.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.